In 1981, there was a murder so shocking that it changed the entertainment world forever, yet the killer was never brought to justice. Now, almost 40 years later, we're reopening the case, reviewing old leads as well as new evidence, to try and make sense of a killing which gave rise to a massacre. The who, what, why, and how of when video killed the radio star. Welcome to the Radio Star Murders.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Radio Star Murders. This is a podcast where we're trying to figure out if video did in fact indeed kill the radio star. Did I say that right? I think I did. Anyway, we are here to continue our 1999 themed adventure through 1999. We've covered a bunch of songs from that important year, and right now we're going to be moving on to Eminem's My Name Is. My name is Wes Teasdale. I'm joined as always by Clay McCormick, who has spent the entire morning trying to figure out which Spice Girl he'd want to impregnate, I guess. But how are you, Clay?
Hi, my name is Clay.
Boom. The little
and I only have one name, which is I always found it very confusing because it's like the Eminem, but he's saying his name is Slim Shady. As a young boy watching these videos and listening to the song, I was very confused.
Yeah, you hadn't. Well, it's funny. Growing up on comic books, you didn't understand the concept of an alter ego, I guess, right?
Well, I mean, it's not like Batman goes around saying, "Hi, my name is Bruce Wayne."
Well, he'd say,
or vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa. I think in this case, yeah. So it's it's Eminem's "My Name Is." This is his big first single, I think, unless there was something that came out before this that was not quite as big. But it's ranked number 26 on VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of the 90s. It was ranked number 6 on Q Magazine's 1001 Best Songs Ever. Number 6. Oh my goodness. On 1001 Best Songs Ever. That's crazy. The song was...
I am going to say I don't know who wrote that list, but they... Yeah, I don't know if I would
What
go
is
that
Q?
far.
Nothing against the song, but what is Q Magazine? It's a popular music magazine published in the UK. Okay.
Yeah, it's a UK magazine, I believe. Yeah.
The song was placed at number 39 by Rolling Stone on their list of 100 greatest hip-hop songs of all time. The recording garnered Eminem his first Grammy Award for Best Rap Solo Performance at the Grammy Awards in 2000. So, Clay, you picked this one. Do you want to describe what it's about?
Sure. In a song that can only be described as getting cornered in conversation with the worst person at a party, the world is introduced to Eminem, but he refers to himself as Slim Shady, thus confusing, well, at least me, as I said, when I was a kid, I can tell you that much. We have a disgusting couple, probably a few drinks deep, sitting down to watch TV, and they're interrupted by Eminem, who is showing how hip and cool he is by making a handful of visual TV references that were at least 40 years old at the time of the making of this video. But you got to hand it to him. He really put that whack Johnny Carson on blast, didn't he? From this point on, we're treated to what I can only describe as a bunch of truly random references and parodies, I guess, of such deep-cut issues as Marilyn Manson, cops, and President Clinton's sex scandal, all while cutting occasionally to Eminem rapping on, I think, a stage in front of a wall of glowing round things, which is 100% the most late 90s music video thing about this. These random timely references and parodies offset the lack of random timely references in the song itself. Not that there were not any in the song, but apparently he didn't think there were enough in the song. This song and video is basically like if your white rap enthusiast brother wrote a spec script for Family Guy. Dr. Dre is also there.
Please operate. Yeah, it's the opening Eminem Slim Shady big hit single. I always think of the when he's on that stage with the glowing things behind him. I always think it's like a tire shop for some reason. Like it looks very because I think he's wearing like an automotive outfit in that.
Yeah, I paused it to look at it, and the only thing I can explain it as is it's a wall full of portholes. Like it looks like portholes off a boat or something.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know what it is, but it looks like it's out of a Backstreet Boys video.
Porthole into his soul. I'm still distracted by ranking at number 6 on the 1001 best songs ever.
So now how did you feel about Eminem at the time? Because I can say I have never been a fan of Eminem.
Oh, okay.
This video was fairly ubiquitous at the time. It came out in January of 1999. premiered on Total Request Live at the end of January. So this opened the year. And I remember seeing it hundreds of times. But I just, it was never my thing. I never understood what people found so engaging about his song, about this song in particular, because it just seemed to be someone talking about being a dickhead. Really taking down Primus and Nine Inch Nails a peg.
He says violence, I think, at the start.
He does, yeah. That's the tough thing, is that the version you see in the video is going to be different than the uncensored one.
Yeah, I guess that's a good place to open. The video for this ridiculously edits the song. So it's our first case of where the video is actually not, it's really not a true recreation of the song. Like, the song is drastically changed with the lyrics that go on and stuff. Like, there's one thing where he's just like, I took the tip jar, and it makes no sense in context because they cut all the lines out around it and stuff like that. But yeah, this is our most heavily edited song if you're watching only the video.
I do very specifically remember from seeing this video when I was younger, the line where he says, walked into the strip club, had my jacket zipped up, served the bartender, and walked out with the tip cup. I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
But the actual line is, walked into the strip club, had my jacket zipped up, flashed the bartender, then stuck my dick in the tip cup.
Which makes more sense, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, as much as that could make sense, I guess.
I think that I like Eminem. Eminem has been around for so long that he's gone through various phases of his career by this point. So this is obviously early Eminem, when things are different. And you would ask, like, what I thought when this one came out. When it came out, I thought that he was a sort of parody act. Like, he was a joke act, because the song is kind of goofy. And, 1999, I'm like, what is this white guy doing up here rapping like this?
Right.
Like he was the first big... Because at that point, you're still thinking like Vanilla Ice in a lot of ways. And Eminem appearing and being very visual in the video, rapping about sort of a non sequitur, like blues traveler-esque thing, except he's talking about his own life. It comes across as a little bit of a joke.
I was actually going to say, this video is like a really twisted version of the video for Hook by Blues Traveler.
Yeah. Yep.
But I also remember being kind of confused, because I was like, I also kind of felt like it was, he was supposed to be a comedy act or a parody act. But like, people seem to really think that he was just, being subversive and just really taking people down. And I was like, what? I don't understand why this is cool.
Well, I think that I'd agree that especially watching the video, if you listen to the song, I think that the lyrics of the song change enough where the song is much more, I'm not going to say adult, but it doesn't feel as much of a parody if you only listen to the original version of the audio, which has the cursing in it and the mentions of violence and everything like that. That when they cut everything out and they take away all of the R-rated stuff, it does feel like a silly kind of goofy song. I'm not going to say this is a great song. And Eminem himself, I was reading in an interview, when he's done recording an album, he said, and he felt this way about this song, or this is the song that sort of led him to believe this. When he's done recording his album and he's got all the songs and he's been listening to them over and over again, he knows that the singles are going to be the songs that he thinks are the cheesiest after he's listened to them a couple times.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that does kind of bear out with all of his albums. If you listen to his albums, his singles are the cheesiest versions of his actual work. So he kind of gets pigeonholed in this a little bit. I wouldn't even say he's pigeonholed, but he comes across as much more of a joke act, especially early in his career like this. And I think that this is like a prototype song for the way that his early career went. When I watched it on YouTube, it auto played into one of the next singles, the Without Me song. And Without Me is basically the same exact song, except it's like 100 times better than this one.
Yes.
Yeah. And like his insults get better, his flow gets better, the groove is better, the production values are better. So it feels like this is just a early stage version of what he eventually would do for a couple years at the start of his career.
Yeah. He has always been very he has kind of had that swing back and forth between silly stuff and fairly serious stuff too.
Yeah.
Like Lose Yourself is 100% not this,
Yeah.
Stan is more or less not this. There's a little bit of this in Stan, but not the funniness of it, but the more straightforward kind of. I wouldn't even call this storytelling, but Stan's kind of like a storytelling song.
Yeah. Yep.
But
it has more of a point
fairly,
than this song does.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. But then you've got other stuff like The Real Slim Shady, which is like this but worse.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. I'd agree, and I think that he this is no Kim or anything like that, but I think as an introduction to Eminem, it actually kind of works. I think he's obviously a protege of Dre, and the funny thing about Dr. Dre, and that I think this kind of applies to Eminem, is that every single Dre song, who is one of the biggest selling hip hop artists of all time, every single Dre single is about Dre can't believe that no one believes that he's back with another song. Like, it's the recurring, he's always like, I'm back, motherfuckers, and he forgot about Dre, but I'm back. Every single song is that way about Dr. Dre. It's like this parody of someone who can't believe that they're not getting respect, as even though they're at the top of their game. And I've actually never even heard anybody say that what happened to Dre. Like, he's always been there, so I don't know what he's talking about. But Eminem kind of goes under his wing a little bit there, in the sense that it's talking about him and everyone else's reaction to him is the point of the song. Yeah.
It's just never been my cup of tea personally.
It's not a great. It sounds dated. It doesn't.
It really does. Yeah.
It doesn't sound great. I think the beat sounds a little bit off. I think that his flow is not like he eventually got much better with his flow. This is very kind of a choppy sort of like late 90s DMX. It's better than DMX, but I'm always struck by, I think DMX is like the worst flow of any rapper ever, because he just goes blah, 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 blah.
Hey, at least DMX is an advocate for small business.
I think Eminem mentions enough product placement, I think, that he's also an advocate for some business. Yeah.
It's weird. It's almost this almost feels like you can hear him flipping through his notebook as you're listening to it.
Yeah.
Like, cause he's got, like you said, his flow isn't super smooth. So it's like he'll say one chunk and then it feels like he kind of stops and then here's another chunk and here's another chunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you classify this video? Like, because I was trying to think about the ways that we've talked about the classifications of videos previously. Like, there's really only 3 kinds of videos, but it's not really a narrative. It's just a bunch of random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's also kind of like oddly similar to something like, it's almost like a movie video without a movie, cause they have the interjections of him actually like performing the songs and stuff, but it's not really, that's not the point of the video. It's not a narrative. I'm not really sure how to classify it.
I think I would just classify it as a joke video, I guess. And Eminem does this a lot, especially early on in his career. It's just kind of, because his lyrics are so referential to things, and Eminem seems to have a sense of humor. It might not land all the time, but he has I always thought that my impression of him was that he has a distinct vocabulary and pop sensibility and sense of humor that was really unique for the hip hop scene at that point. Like, it veers somewhat close to parody and joke, but he knows a lot, and I think they've done analysis of rappers' vocabulary use, and he's near the top for like different words that are used in his raps and things like that. And he definitely shows that off. And I think the video is just a byproduct of how referential and disjointed the lyrics of the song are, which is not really about anything. So they just kind of stick in referential jokes about what he thinks about pop culture. And that's why it's a pretty good reference point for 1999, because he is of that era in a lot of ways, even if he's passed, as you said, on Bill Clinton and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like I would give him more credit for that stuff if there was anything kind of clever about what he's referencing.
Yep.
Like, if you're sticking to just what's in the video, it's like, oh yeah, a Clinton joke. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like Johnny Carson for the Brady Bunch. Sure. Marilyn Manson, not doing anything particularly weird. He's just there.
Yeah. Yep. He's a reference point for 1999. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, isn't that weird? Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I guess.
But I guess Could you see any other rapper of that era dressing up like that for the videos? Like, I always appreciate the sort of lightheartedness of Eminem in that case. Like, I couldn't see Snoop or Dre. They take themselves too seriously for this kind of stuff. Like, Jay-Z would not do that or anything like that. Like, he exists kind of outside of the hip-hop culture of you have to be cool. Like, do you think Eminem thinks that he's cool? I guess is kind of an interesting question at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Because I think you could look at this song as being a parody of the ridiculousness of the fact that he is a pop star.
Yeah, or a budding pop star.
Yeah. But I don't know what his opinion of himself at this point was.
Because I would agree with you that his visual jokes don't work. I think his lyrics are a mix of like pretty, maybe not profound, but like very good into what he would grow into, and a mix of like being sort of juvenile at this point. And he doesn't really grow out of the juvenile stuff at this point. But my favorite line is, I'm not ready to leave. It's too scared to die. I'll have to be carried inside the cemetery and buried alive. Which I think,
is a good line.
Which is a very good line. And he eventually gets better at that, and he sort of builds his career off doing more sort of interesting stuff like that. And he moves away from the like drank a fifth of vodka, Jeremy Drive, which in the video is they drank a fifth of Kool-Aid, and that's it. Like he just says that.
That was my favorite edit, because it was like they didn't even know what to do with the second half of it. Yeah. Because it's changed from I just drank a fifth of Kool-Aid, and then the song just goes like, yeah. So I do think it's interesting though, because he does have these little bits in there, but they're so obscured by the silliness of the rest of it, you know?
Yes.
Or the just seemingly, I just gotta sound like an old person. The seemingly just the violence of some of his lyrics that don't seem to have much context other than the fact that he's just angry, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I've never understood the got pissed and ripped Pamela Lee's tits off thing. It's like, what?
Yeah, she's just she's the modern day Dolly Parton for a woman with giant breasts that he can reference at that point. He has a funny line that I think is not in the video, but in the song he says, and that's what silicone tastes like, or something like that.
He says in the video, he says, I didn't know silicone was supposed to be this soft.
Yeah.
But the original line is, smacked her so hard I knocked her clothes backwards like crisscross. Which again is like, I'm not really sure if that's literary levels of satire here as much as just
what do you think about that, actually? Let's talk about that, because that's interesting. Eminem was always someone who was advocated against as kind of a violent, homophobic, misogynist type. I think in a genre where it's not exactly rare to have those opinions, I think is fair to say about hip hop, but he was easily singled out. I think I would assume just because he's the white guy that the media can pick on for that kind of stuff.
Well, I always thought it was more that he was so popular so fast.
You think?
I mean, maybe being the white guy is part of it.
Well, I think he had the Elvis effect of white suburban kids were buying the album and therefore getting their parents upset. Yeah,
which there's multiple sides of that conversation you could be on as to whether or not that is. I don't even know where I'm trying to go with this, but like the idea that that people are only paying attention to these lyrics because it's a white guy is kind of is insulting, and there's no angle on that conversation that isn't insulting to someone.
Well, you could say it became to the forefront because he got so popular by appealing to a base that is not generally hip hop's main base, at least at the time, I guess you could say. Like he because of his relationship with like Britney Spears and the pop stars of that era, I think a lot of young teenage white kids bought his album as a result, because he's part of that cultural conversation in a way that Dre and Snoop probably weren't. They seem like they'd be a little bit of an older audience at that point. The other songs on the album are Guilty Conscience for singles. Is that the only one? I think that's his only other single from this album. Which is a very different song, but it's similar, but that song has more of a point, I think, than this one does. That one's actually about something and maybe even potentially interesting on some level.
Yeah, I'm actually not, well, Sorry, they're hammering again. I don't know how much of this is going to show up on the track.
Oh, that's fine. We'll be getting close to wrapping up anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually don't know that song. Like I said, I was not much of an Eminem fan, but I mean, I think I've said this before. The ubiquitousness of him in pop culture was cemented when my mom went out and bought an Eminem album, but the clean version.
That's what I'm talking about, I think.
Yeah. And I still don't understand why she did that.
Based on this song? Or did she
no,
did she
she
Guilty
bought
Conscience?
The following album, I think.
Oh, the following one, okay.
I'm going to have to look and see what was on that album, because there's got to be one song that she liked or something, but it's very strange.
Yeah. The next one is the Marshall the next one is the Dark album. It's the Marshall Mathers LP. With him sitting in front of the house on the cover art.
The one that she got was
Real Slim Shady, The Way I Am, Stan is on that album. Kim.
I can picture the cover. Let me look up it real. The Eminem Show.
Eminem Show. That's the one after this, then, right? That's his third album, I think. Yep, 2002.
Yep. I don't know.
Yeah. The songs there were that one's actually pretty interesting. It's got Cleaning Out My Closet was the big one. Without Me, probably Without Me would be the song that would really appeal to people, I guess, on that one. Sing for the Moment. Is she an Aerosmith fan?
No, I don't think so.
That's then I don't know. I can't help
I can't remember if there's anything vaguely Hispanic on that album, which is the song I would point to.
Is he featuring Santana in one of these songs?
Yeah, so. Is Santana on this album, or is there like a mariachi horn section? Then she'd be totally into that.
I don't I feel this video is pretty dated at this point. I remember watching it a ton and thinking it was at least enjoyable enough where I never remember getting tired of this one or the song or anything. I don't think it's a particularly good song.
I can tell you I got real tired of it watching the video for this show, because I watched it like 4 times in a row and I was like, fuck, I hate this.
Yeah.
I disliked watching this on repeat more than I disliked watching All Star on repeat.
Oh, interesting. It does have a pretty grating chorus. It's really not a very sophisticated, hi, my name is, hi, and his voice is kind of up in that sort of grady tone about it and stuff, but certainly maybe an earworm, I guess, because of that. Let's see.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about for this one?
No, I think we can roll into whether or not you think the video enhances it or hurts it at all.
I think it depends, because I guess the context here is whether or not it kind of hurt his career. I wonder if this video helped him or not. I wonder if he would be taken more seriously or if I would have taken him more seriously as an artist if I had not seen the video and only knew the song, the unedited song, and whether or not the video actually did this like Alien Ant Farm effect. I know that Alien Ant Farm, their regret about their career, I was reading, was that they made too many jokey videos at the start of their career, and it caused people to think that they were just kind of a joke band. And
right.
I wonder, Eminem didn't have that effect, but I wonder if that was a possible outcome for him because of this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I had never seen the video, I don't know if this is the kind of thing I would have assumed that the video would be like. Maybe I would, I don't know. But I mean, I feel like, I don't know if it's hurt his career really, because he seemed to, let's put it this way. I think it hurt his career in that for people like me who were kind of just observing his thing and not really into his music, what his thing was became very confusing because it seemed jokey, but then you're seeing all these things about controversies about his lyrics, about beating his wife and killing women and being, homophobic and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And it does not jive at all with what you're seeing.
Right. Yeah.
Like him doing a parody of Tom Green doing My Bum Is on the Swedish or whatever. It doesn't really line up with songs about killing his wife.
Yeah. That's true. It's a confusing start to him. I'm surprised that he survived through it. So I guess maybe I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised that it didn't seem as confusing back then. Maybe it was. I guess I would say that this video did not help the song. Would be my takeaway.
It's tough because I think that the video enhances the song in that it adds more subversive things to laugh at. So like if that's what if you're coming at the song as being like, oh shit, I can't believe he said that kind of thing, then I think the video adds to that. by giving you visual representations of some of that stuff, even if it's not particularly clever, and it's just like, oh shit, the president, oh shit, he's getting a blowjob, that kind of thing. Oh shit, Johnny Carson, I'm gonna tell my grandmother about this, and she's gonna shit. So I think it's amplifying the subversiveness of the Marilyn Manson thing. Just always like, how do you supposed to respond to that? You should be like, oh shit, yo, did you see Marilyn Manson, Eminem playing Marilyn Manson in that video? Yeah, what was he doing? He was there.
He was there.
He was just there. Yeah.
Yeah,
he wasn't even like waving guns around inside of school or something. Nope. He was just there.
He had a strange, because
it was killer.
One of the follow-up songs, he kind of it seems like him and Marilyn became kind of close, because Marilyn Manson got the same kind of criticism that Eminem did at that point. So it kind of was like they had each other's backs in a strange, very 1990s way.
That's we haven't really talked about that much at all, because we haven't really done songs that have really skirted that. Well, maybe this is the first one, but the late 90s became a big time for lyrical content issues, and people taking songs to task for the content of their lyrics and blaming things on them that they probably shouldn't have been blamed for.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like that started in the early 90s with Gore and his wife, who wanted to put the sticker of violent lyrics or whatever on albums. What's your? I guess we can wrap it up. What's your take on lyrics that way? Subversive lyrics.
I think with anything, if you're anybody who claims that they acted in a certain way based on lyrics in a song already had problems to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm really unless the lyrics are straight up like a spoken word album about why you should go out and kill people or something, I find I'm hard pressed to put pressure on artists for that stuff. But at the same time, you do also have to be aware of that stuff when you're putting it down. So are you doing it just for the sake of subversiveness, or is there a point to it? Are you trying to be satirical about it? I think that you have to at least have it in the back of your mind when you're doing that stuff.
Yeah. I think Eminem is satirical enough. You run into this kind of odd problem where if your lyrics are like violent, misogynistic, homophobic, but they're incredibly stupid, I'm thinking like oi, punk rock, or like black metal, no one seems to care about it, interestingly. But if you're someone like Eminem, who seems to put a little bit of thought into it, but ends up with the same vitriol, or at least like, sort of pseudo played up vitriol that he's trying to get a point across, it seemed to be, it's taken as more offensive for some reason, where I think that the artistry of amping it up a little bit, and I do kind of buy into the argument that his Slim Shady thing is sort of a persona. I know he must have some disturbing beliefs within him, but I think that he does, even the fact that he calls that persona Slim Shady implies to me that he is consciously aware that this is an act, that this is a persona that he's putting through. And I guess you could say the same about metal bands and stuff like that, but it's an interesting little dichotomy.
Yeah, I think that's something that's easy to forget when you're looking at it from the outside, is that, it's these people are performers, and there is an element of, playing a character in some instances, Not every song about a specific thing means that the person who wrote the song did that thing.
Yep.
Or has any experience doing that. It's just a song.
Yeah.
So I do think you have to take that into consideration, that the Slim Shady was I would be hard pressed to say that it wasn't a character. I mean, it seems clearly what it is.
Yes, but I guess the question would be, do you think that he was clever enough at that point to create it to artificially shield himself from criticism? I guess would be. I don't think that seems like a long con to me.
Yeah, I think there's kind of two ways you could look at it. You could look at it as him creating it to shield himself from controversy. Well, I guess maybe it's part of the same argument. What I'm going to say is that it is also possible that he was like, well, if I have a character say this, then
right. That's what I mean.
I can say whatever I want. I don't know. That's a tough call. I think only he would be able to answer that.
Slim Shady has died out. He does not seem to mention Slim Shady as much in his recent songs.
Yeah. Does he still rap about slapping around Pamela Anderson.
It's some new version, I think. I think his
I can't wait to hear what he has to say about Primus now. Because,
Right.
I mean, there's been 20 years for him to just really build up material on Primus there.
he should just have a line about Primus sucking, and people would be very confused if he knows that that's what you're supposed to say if you like Primus, or if he's actually thinks that they suck, and like how big of a Primus fan is Eminem?
Yeah.
We'll have to do a Primus song at some
You know,
point.
you know what's fascinating of all the things that they cut out of this video. Maybe it was just maybe there was some sort of like list of worst to best as far as like, you know, you get one, we get one. What are we gonna censor, not censor?
Yeah.
I'm shocked that they kept in trying to figure out which one of the Spice Girls I want to impregnate.
I'm always confused by drug use references because they keep in "you're a basehead, you're wasted," which while they just cut out the fact that he says he's drinking in another scene. So it's very confused. They must just have a quota of you guys have to take out 17 references for this thing to get played on the radio.
Yeah, or even the violence one, like, "Hi kids, do you like violence?" Who cares?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Because he does say, "Do you want to shove 9-inch nails through each one of your eyelids?" Right. That is
yes.
Yeah. So
no, he says, "Do you want to watch me shove 9-inch nails through each one of my eyelids?"
Right. So what that's saying, that it's all the hypocrisy of you just can't say the word violence, but you can describe what your violent scene is that you're describing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through the lyrics here now.
Just drank a fifth of Kool-Aid. What the fuck?
It's just an awkward 5 seconds as they edit out everything else around it. Yeah, it's just really when you blew up when Usher stands and they try to touch your hands like some screaming Usher fans. No one's thought about Usher in a long time. Guy at White Castle asked for my autograph, so I signed it. "Dear Dave, thanks for the support, asshole."
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's a pretty prototypical Eminem song. I'm going to say the video did not help him, but I'm going to do that just because I think you're going to say that it did, and I'd like to split the difference because I am very conflicted about this one.
I'm also conflicted. I honestly don't know. I think I would err on the side of it doesn't help. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, did it help Eminem? Probably not. Did it help the song? Probably yes.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. And he also went on to be very successful, so it's hard to say at that point. There's no obvious conclusion you can draw. It's kind of a It's a very counterfactual video. What could have been if things went a little bit differently for Eminem? All right, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for supporting the show. We're going to be back with our final 1999 video, which is Blink-182's "All the Small Things," because it, similarly to this one, references a lot of stuff that was happening in 1999, but I think it does it in more of a visual way that is a good summation of that year. So we'll be back with that one. Clay, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the censored and uncensored thing again. It's really fascinating to me. There's a line that also I never understood, which was, "And by the way, when you see my dad, ask him if he bought the porno mag to see my ad."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the hell does that? The actual line is, "And by the way, when you see my dad, tell him that I slit his throat in this dream I had."
Yes.
I feel like you could change that and say, like, "Tell him that I stole his car in this dream I had," or so. You know, like, why?
Why totally change the meaning of the lyric?
Why is that okay?
Yeah.
Why is that okay? But buying a porno mag to see an ad, I don't know. It's just so strange.
I mean, I was going through trying to justify why he would do that, and I just assume it's a porno mag would be the cheapest place to sell ad space is why he would say that. But that is a very strange change. But I think that lyric is a perfect encapsulation of why the edited version kind of does a disservice to the song.
Yeah.
It really doesn't capture the nastiness of some of the lines that I think is kind of crucial because it's paired off against that bouncy little "Hi, my name is."
Yeah. That's true. Maybe excuse me. Maybe if I had heard the original unedited version, I maybe would have had a different opinion of him. So maybe the video hurts because I thought he kind of sucked.
I've been talking about porno mags and Kool-Aid. What the F is this? All right, I guess we're done then. Guys, thank you very much. We'll be back next week with Blink-182's "All the Small Things." See you then.